Welcome to another episode of Horror Movie Night. This week we are discussing Child's Play 2! Arguably the best Child's Play movie of the entire franchise. I said it. I'm going to stick by it. I've got about a page and a half to 2 pages worth of notes explaining why I feel that way. We're still live on YouTube at this point, so let's hash this out.
I'm going to say this, man. I think that Child's Play has and I can't really speak. I think one of the newer ones I didn't see, but I would say Child's Play has probably the most consistent franchise.
You know why? Because Don Mancini wrote all of them.
Yeah. But it was almost like they went from a straight horror, and this movie was when they realized that horror can be fun.
Yeah, they dipped their toe just a bit.
Child's Play 3 was a learning curve. It was a learning curve.
I've never seen 3. Is it worth watching?
Oh, we'll talk about it one day.
That's
why it's on someone's list.
it's definitely not the best. But then dude, fucking Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky are just they are so fucking fun.
They're
to watch.
laugh riots. They're just comedies. They're not even horror movies.
Yeah, but that's why I don't ever want to watch them again. I don't think I've even ever seen the entirety of Seed of Chucky. I think I saw a greatest hits or the middle of it at a party in high school or college or something.
The best thing about Seed of Chucky, not to get off track at Child's Play 2, but John Waters' cameo.
Wait, okay, you sold me. I'll watch it. That's all I had to say, buddy.
What do you want me to do? Draw you a fucking picture? Could you? Someone get a pencil.
He plays a trashy tabloid journalist. Best casting in film history. Anyway, so I actually think that this is the first Child's Play movie I ever saw. I feel pretty confident.
That sounds right, but it wasn't the first I ever saw. The first one I saw was Bride of Chucky, which makes no sense because you have no backup information. You don't have any exposition. I mean, I guess they do a good enough explanation, but yeah. So yes, Bride of Chucky is the first one I ever saw. And what about you, BKL?
It's Child's Play 2.
Yeah, he watched it.
Did you guys watch it together?
He watched it at the sleepover that I had for my birthday.
Yeah.
What birthday was it? 11?
Probably 10 or 11, something like that. Right when I was first dipping my toe into horror movies.
And it was funny because I remember, I think this is the first time I've watched it since then. I think it's been a while. Maybe I watched it one other time, but I remember the wax being bright orange because I thought it was pretzel dip cheese. That's what I thought he was killed with at the end, was cheese.
My other memory of this, because here's the thing, and I doubt any of the guys would ever hear this, and they were really good dudes, but the people that were at my sleepover at that particular time were
no last names, Matt.
No last names. No, I'm not going to give any last names. They were guys who also played on the sports teams I was forced to play on, so not really best friend material. They were just kind of guys that I was in a type of social circle with.
Yeah. So, This is the infamous sleepover, Scott. This is when I watched Child's Play Starship Troopers and wasn't allowed to watch Porky, so I went upstairs to watch Species with my parents, and they realized they made a mistake.
Yeah.
Wow, I would let my kid watch Porky's before Subspecies or before Species any day. Species fucked me up. There's not as bad as Species 2 though, but we'll get to that someday.
It had just come out.
I feel like your parents were pretty bad at judging what movies were about.
They didn't ask questions. The only time that
that's bad parenting.
GameStop screwed me, and then I had to get my Aunt Gail to buy it for me because my parents took me to GameStop to get Conker's Bad Fur Day, and I was like, "This is perfect."
What? What?
Conker's Bad Fur Day. It was a video game about a squirrel that got wasted, and he's hungover, and he has to find his way home. And everywhere he goes is a reference to a genre of movies.
How do you spell that?
Conkers. It's for N64. It's tied with Metal Gear Solid as the best game ever made. But anyway,
that is a wild boast.
The guy at GameStop was like, "This is a little bit too, I don't think your son's mature enough for this game." So my mom was like, "I'm not getting it for you." And then I got my Aunt Gail to get it a month later.
So here's a question. Why are you not a furry? After there's a sexualized, was she a rabbit on the front there?
Because I played this at an age where boobs were funny. You know, because I wasn't allowed to see them. It wasn't like, oh,
Boobs have
boobs.
never
It's
been
like,
funny.
boobies.
It's not a game.
Take that, mom.
But then the other, but that's the other thing is that this was the infamous. I'm pretty sure this is the Chucky getting a swirly sleepover as well.
I was so no, it couldn't have been. It couldn't have been because Child's Play 2 was the first one I saw, and then I got obsessed with Chucky after that,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was pissed. They gave my Chucky because Matt had a Chucky and I had a Chucky, but I had a Bride of Chucky. Like I had like
the stitched together, yeah,
and they gave it a swirly, and his hair was
Damn.
never the same.
So hey,
someone tried to fix it in the dryer, which just made it way worse.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, I just I have a public service announcement for anybody listening, as well as anybody on the live stream, but mostly people listening. You might want to go on incognito mode to look up Conker's Bad Fur Day, because I wasn't wrong. There's a lot of shitty DeviantArt kind of furry porn.
I mean, there is furry porn on Sonic, so there's 100% going to be furry porn on fucking Conker's Bad Fur Day.
You know what else is really disturbing? Furry porn on Zootopia.
Yeah, that gets creepy.
I mean, furry porn is creepy, but like the Zootopia is really fucked up because she's so sweet and like because you have a crush on
Judy Hopps.
Her anyway.
Judy Hopps.
Anyway,
Matt's like,
Judy's
I'm not
hopping.
I may or may not have a DeviantArt page just directed towards Judy Hopps.
Can't escape it no matter what.
Oh yeah, that Zootopia porn is gross.
But where is it?
So I can report it.
Yeah, can you send me a link so I know how to block it properly?
Those are awful. What websites?
Anyway, so Child's Play 2, the horror sequel that's spawned by them trying to do a PR cover-up, is which
is such a great 1991 concept. Like evil corporations just this movie is really smart. Like Don Mancini, obviously. Don Mancini?
Yeah, I think that's it.
He is just like super smart. I think that this was the best and only way you could have gone from the original Child's Play into a sequel. I'm not giving their other sequels like a free pass, because I think that some of them stretch a bit. Although I do really love Curse of Chucky. I don't know about Cult, but I loved Curse of Chucky. I think that is
one I haven't seen. That's the one.
Curse of Chucky is really good. It's like a lot darker than most of the stuff. It's more closely, tonally, it's much closer to maybe Child's Play 2. Probably Child's Play the original, though, because it's pretty dark. I mean, it's got like Chucky making some quips, but also the quips in this, I was expecting this was my first watch. I was expecting a lot more quips, and I was very happy that he's more pissed off than like a stand-up comic, because that's really, to me, that's the sign that a franchise has gone on too long. You know, as much as I enjoy Dream Warriors, that's when Freddy starts doing his quips, you know, like "Welcome to prime time, bitch," you know, and like, and I think that really Hellraiser 3 is when we get, I don't know, it's the best and worst take on Pinhead, in my opinion. So I don't know. I mean, these are all controversial opinions from a white guy that it doesn't fucking matter what I think. But then, you know, we got Friday the 13th. I mean, when did Jason become a caricature? I don't even know. I think probably tougher. 3.
Yeah, and it's also tougher when they don't,
because he doesn't talk. Yeah. But I mean, think about all the franchises, and I think that there is TCM2 really is when the whole franchise kind of became a comedy. But TCM2 is my favorite now. I mean, not for lack of Toby Hooper trying to make the first one a comedy, but
Scream 5 would have had Ghostface like blowing someone up, and he's like, "You're fired," and then he runs out of the house. It's like, he runs and his knife stays in the air for a few seconds, and his arm grabs it.
So like, my thing is, I love, but like with this specific movie, I love it right from the opening shot, like the opening shot of the burnt up Chucky head.
Oh yeah, when they're scraping that. Okay, so this is the thing, is that I think that we are I'm trying to think of the term. I'm trying to think of the right word, because I want to say spoiled, but it's not spoiled. I think that we're spoiled in a way because we don't have to sit through intro credits anymore, but intro credits that are exposition are so
Yeah,
good.
it's so cool.
Because like this is like one of the best. I think that Gremlins 2 had a really great exposition type intro. I think that you can do it in a cool way too with like Night of the Demons, where they had the
animated stuff,
with a great theme song. There are ways that you can do it. Like Halloween 4 has a great intro. Halloween
Really,
1 has a
I was
great
gonna say
intro.
most of the Halloween franchise knows how to do it stylistically.
Yeah, and Halloween 5. Halloween 5 is an underrated intro because it's like basically just the sound of a knife going into a pumpkin, and then at the end you see the jack-o'-lantern.
Really,
in general, though,
I think Nightmare on Elm Street also was usually pretty good because they would have like these weird. You were always inside of a nightmare for the opening credits.
Well, not the first one. Well, I guess
you're walking
the first one.
You're walking in the boiler room in the first one.
Yeah, but I feel like the first one starts with seeing the origin of the glove.
Yeah, but that's before any of the
then
credits
you see
even come up. I
Amanda
don't
Wyss.
think. I think that's like a quick.
It says New Line Cinema, Wes Craven film, Nightmare on Elm
Gotcha.
Street. So I don't know. I think that it's kind of a gray area. We're just being pedantic now.
Yeah,
But
so-
yes, this is an awesome
Yeah,
intro.
so they're scraping up all the burnt pieces of him, and they're basically making him fresh and new. And then the suit,
Which is a bad fucking idea. Why would you do this?
I think they wanted to make. He says that they're trying to prove that someone had malfunctioned with the doll. That it could
right. I mean, I get it, but also it's just really stupid of them.
And as soon
But
as
it's the only thing, like you said, it's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because there is absolutely no reason to dig up that doll, clean him off, and remake him unless you're trying to have an argument in court, like a legal argument where it's like this doll isn't haunted.
Yeah.
Like imagine if they were just like, oh man, we need to remake a Chucky. Here's an old robot one. Let's rebuild it. You'd be like, that's so fucking stupid. Just make one for 5 cents because they're cheap to make dolls.
And I've got some questions about the way that they make Chucky dolls for later on in this episode. But so they insert the eyeballs into the toy to finalize building it. And that's when like Chucky's soul is re-entered into the body and causes just an electrical malfunction that like blows one dude.
It looks so good too.
Blows the guy straight through the glass. His face is all sliced up. Good shit.
Yeah, so fucking good. Like, that's the thing about this movie. It feels 1991, but in the best possible way. It's like Candyman level nostalgia for me.
Yeah.
Where you watch it and you're like, oh, I remember good 90s, early 90s horror. This is like one of those movies that I saw. Well, not one of these movies, but like this look was one of the first ones that I saw stylistically that feels like, okay, this is pre-Scream.
Yeah. Well, and the Chucky moves so well too, which is
yeah,
like, very well
better
done.
than the first one, better than most of them, really, because it's all practical, but it's also they know when to fold and when to hold.
Yeah.
Where they're like, okay, we can't get Chucky to do this thing right here, full body, so let's just have his face emote.
Yeah. Like
it's really
they
great.
They really know, like you said, fold and hold. They know when to use him. So Andy is getting adopted while his mom is in a psych ward, and his foster,
which is dark, so dark.
And his foster parents kind of suck. Like,
well, no, beef.
No.
It's fucking beef.
I get that it's beef. I'm talking about from a parental standpoint. Like, I am 100% on Kyle's side. She is going to have to live on her own in a year. It maybe isn't that important to her to have family dinner time. Like, she needs to save money.
That is a personal vendetta that you're putting onto this movie, and I'm not going to stand for it.
That's the thing, though, is that I'm with you, Matt. Fuck family dinners. They are stress-inducing to the max.
Like you've got that. You've got the dad who's like so unsympathetic to the fact that this kid was traumatized.
Also, how do you miss a Chucky doll?
Yeah.
In the bedroom,
and then he's just like, "It's just a fucking doll." Like, it's like, did you not read the case on this child at all before you took him into your
they didn't.
Custody?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. As before you say anything, Brian, I gotta say, I think that there's a bit of reality in this movie, a dark reality, where adoption agencies are just absolutely overrun with kids because people are gonna pop out kids that they don't have the ability to take care of, or they're fucking pieces of shit and they lose their kids. And you know how hard it is to lose your kids in CPS? Like, super fucking hard. You have to be found with a fucking heroin needle in your arm to lose your kids in 2019. I'm sure that it wasn't much better in 1991.
Which apparently, side note, in 1991, Chicago's foster care was almost exclusively the palest of white children running around.
Yeah, well, I mean, do you think that Chicago has any brown people in it? Have you been to Chicago? It's all white people.
Later on in the movie, when all the kids are leaving because of the fire alarm, I'm like, oh my God, it's all white kids.
They couldn't get in with the brown kid union.
Yeah. But I guess Don Mancini, when he strode up to a corner and said, "Stereo, daddy," didn't really work out in his favor. Huh?
Okay, so Don Mancini might have a blind spot because he is a gay white man.
This is true.
Yeah.
But he's not like, he's fallible. So anyway, let's get back to the movie. So there's some darkness here where they don't look at at his case. They're like, okay, well, she's like, whatever the woman's name is that gets stabbed in the chest later is like, oh, you should take him. And they're like, okay, I guess. And so they just fucking leave with him. It's like they didn't really have time to plan it out because the adoption agency or the foster agency is just like, you'll love him. He's a great kid, even though he's traumatized from seeing people get murdered. So I get it. But then we go back to the evil corporation and the little toady who was like, oh, things will be fine if we reanimate this doll. He grabs the Chucky that's been reanimated. He doesn't realize it yet, and he throws it in the back of his car, which is full of toys, which I think is very funny because he doesn't give a fuck about the toys. They're just like prototypes or him doing market research or whatever. He throws him face down, and Chucky keeps going, I like to be hugged. I like to be hugged. I like to be hugged, which is actually Chucky became my spirit animal for a moment there because
you're combining two things. This is my slapping of two things combining.
It's your balls.
That's how babies
I like to be hugged was the Tommy doll that they had at the house that Chucky knocks over because then
the good guy. Okay.
Because then he yells hug this and starts beating it with the vase.
Okay, all right. No, it's not a vase. It's like this weird piece of like China ceramic that she's like, oh, that's also really. This movie has a lot of really dark comments, which I think are great. Where Andy's like, the mom is like, my grandmother gave it to my mother, and my mother gave it to me, and he's like, well, who are you gonna give it to? And she doesn't have an answer for that. Because I'm assuming that they're infertile, which is totally fine. Like, be a fucking foster parent, please. Even if you are fertile, be a fucking foster parent. This movie should be like giant red sign, like, be a foster parent, but just vet your kids because they might bring a killer doll home who's going to kill you with a sewing machine. But yeah, so also this foster mom does get a bit of a strike against her because she makes fucking egg salad for lunch. How divorced from kids you have to be like, I'm going to give you the stinky lunch bag. I don't care how much you like the taste of egg salad. There's no time when you should have egg salad in a paper bag inside of a paper bag and then a plastic bag because it's just going to stink up your kid's locker and they're going to get laughed at
Setting
school.
them up for failure right out the gate.
Exactly. Exactly. No wonder Kyle wants to get gone.
So Kyle, speaking of,
who's like kind of a Patricia Arquette character.
She reminds me, and I don't know how accurate this is because I was like 8, but she kind of reminds me of a babysitter I had, but I don't remember anything about the babysitter, which is weird. All I remember is that the babysitter taught me all the words to regulate by Warren G.
Wow. I feel like I'm learning we've been podcasting for over 6 years together, almost every week. And I'm learning new shit all the time. This makes so much sense about your desire for white boy rap. I blame that woman.
Yeah, so Kyle is she's better with kids than the fucking foster parents are.
Yeah.
Like she knows how to talk to Andy like a person because you can talk to kids like people, but like with the sensitive gloves of like knowing what's appropriate for a kid. I think you
guys are letting the dad like you're lumping the dad and mom.
His name's Beef.
Yeah. because Joanne.
Joanne tries.
She does try.
She tries until Beef's neck gets snapped. And then she's like,
Yeah,
"Be gone from me, child."
But before we talk about that, there's one other kill that we need to talk about, which is the sparkle motion teacher.
Oh, dude, I have the quote that I doubt Mrs. Kettleworth's dedication to sparkle motion. But the thing is that we have the best quote from the movie, and it's not from Chucky. Get lost, microchip.
Microchip. The weird thing is that when did we watch this movie? I was like 6.
Yeah.
The entire classroom scene, I like remembered scene for scene, every single thing that happened.
If you're watching on YouTube, I used the clip of Chucky with the ruler. It is my favorite shot of Chucky in the entire franchise.
When he's just like walking like this
when he's
with the
walking
ruler.
with the ruler in his hand, he just looks so menacing and creepy, and I love it.
The entire franchise?
Of all of the movies, it's my favorite shot of Chucky.
That's a lot, man. That's a lot to say. I don't know if I have the answer to that. If you were to like quiz me on that, I don't know if I'd have an answer because I definitely want to rewatch Child's Play and Curse of Chucky. But I mean, it's great. It is great. But I also really like when he's in the car with the dude and he has that gun that you know isn't a real fucking gun. It's just a squirt gun. It's like the size of Chucky's hand, and then he shoots the guy in the face where he goes, ha ha ha. I don't know. Like, I can't watch this movie and not think about Graveyard Shift now because that was the last movie that I saw him in.
The teacher also gets an air pump in the chest.
Oh, by the way,
you
you would absolutely get an embolism and die way before you get stabbed in the fucking chest 6 or 7 more times.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Man, she gets a brutal fucking death.
So, of all the times we've seen her die on our podcast, is this the worst?
Probably. I feel like she gets killed off camera a lot too.
Brett Dourif.
Okay, yeah.
Whose daughter is in later
the future
installments of the franchise, which I love. I just love that.
So, Chucky kills the teacher. So now,
here's the question: are we gonna gloss over the fact that he cleaned up his mess? Like, he cleaned up all that blood. He cleaned up that room. He hid the body somehow, and nobody's like, "Oh, the teacher's dead," and call the house. Like, would no one know this? Because it was only detention. It wasn't. It was probably like 3:00 in the afternoon when she got fucking murdered.
I think you're looking too logically into a Chucky movie at that point.
This is the movie to look logically into because it's like the most logical of the Chuckies. Of the Chuckies.
Not for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. So, we're recording.
Robots are taking over.
Yeah, that's true.
Dude, I can't wait. I can't fucking wait. So
this is going to come out right after
the week after, right?
The week after it's released. So you'll hear if you're listening to the podcast, not watching on live stream, you'll hear our In Theater Now episode. Hopefully we liked it, but I'm excited.
I'm really excited.
Dude, it's got Mark Hamill. There's no way I'm not going to have a good time.
But
yeah, no, it's going to be fun.
But the other big thing that happens in this movie is that Chucky kills the teacher, comes back to the house.
How's it hanging, Phil?
Andy makes a decision. Andy is going to kill Chucky, and he does it the best way he knows how. He pulls a Seth Green, look at me, I'm Leatherface, and he hits a turkey knife, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, that's a turkey knife.
Turkey knife, and he's down there ready to go. And that's when Beef shows up, and things don't go so well for Beef at that point.
Yeah, also, so this was
best.
it was the cheapest, well, not cheapest, it was the least painful kill, the quickest kill, and also the one that I would feel most appreciative to be murdered by Chucky, because I've seen him murder a lot of people, and I think this is the best way to go. So,
snap my neck.
Yeah, just fucking kill me. Like, I that's like 30 seconds of horror in your life, and then you're dead. Like,
it's a win-win.
Yeah, that's the way I want to go.
No life.
Yeah,
Easy.
so I was pretty shocked because I did say that this is my first watch. I was pretty shocked that Beef got killed, and I'm even more shocked that the mom got killed. And that was that tableau of her like turning her around, and it felt very Halloween H2O when they're just like dead bodies with like crazy shit that's happened to them. Like, I really loved it. It was a great
Chucky turned Joanne into Joanne Fabrics.
Oh, is your name really Joanne?
Yeah.
Fuck, it's amazing.
Let me see if I can hold this up to the camera. But if you can see, I have a note that says, "There's a Joanne Fabrics joke somewhere."
I can see it.
So this is where. So all that stuff's great. But it's the next part of the movie where things get fucking awesome. And that's Chucky gets the car with Kyle. She tries to kill him. Chucky escapes with Andy, flips her the bird from the back of the truck.
Yeah.
And from this entire...
That's really where... That is the, like, welcome to primetime bitch of the Child's Play franchise, where Chucky stopped being a menacing wisecracker to being a straight wisecracker.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm okay with it. It worked well for this.
But this point on, the truck stops, and they go inside the factory, and the last third of this movie is, like, perfect. It's perfection.
No.
It's pretty close.
It's pretty close.
Shut up, Brian.
There's only one issue with the last 30 minutes of this, and it is not a comedy scene. It is a serious scene that they shot comedy style, which was him falling down the slide, and it's just like a camera panning on Tommy, like, whoa, for like 10 seconds with no comedic value. I was like, wow, that is so parody in a serious scene.
All right, so you get
That's the only issue I have.
Anyway, so one of the things I love is that Chucky actually finishes the ritual in this movie. It's been too long that he's a doll, so it doesn't do anything. But like, I think it's
I love that he starts to bleed. That's super cool. Here's the thing about this movie is that. So I think that Don Mancini did the right thing with this, thinking, you know what, lightning's not going to strike twice, or lightning's not going to strike 3 times.
Yeah.
So the first one, I said what I wanted to say. Second one, I can write a second movie. But you know what? I doubt there's going to be another one because it's hard to go back. It's hard to go on from where we are here. And so he really does like a great job of setting up the tableau of like all the moving parts in the factory, and you get like a nice kill with that guy in the eyeballs.
Yeah, the eyeball kill is
machine,
probably my favorite kill in the movie.
It's not, well, I guess it's my favorite kill, but I don't think it's the best death. I think that the most horrific death is definitely Joanne, really, because it's off screen, but it's also the more horrific because you know it's going to happen. Yeah. But you know it happened, and then she pulls. Kyle pulls her aside, and you get to see that's what I'm saying. It's a very Michael Myers kill, because a lot of Michael Myers kills are off screen, which is why, Halloween is a very bloodless movie, but still good and effective. But I think that Don Mancini did the right thing by being like, there's no way to go beyond this. And so he really went balls to the wall, all out in this last 15 minutes, and you get Chucky come back 3 times.
Yeah, and every time he looks, well, not every time, but
even more horrific.
But like,
it's great.
Like, they're running through the labyrinth of dolls, which is really, really cool.
Oh, it's so good.
And then, so here's the thing. This is what I like about the movie, is that Chucky realizes that he's trapped as this doll forever, which means that he has got like no fucks left to give. Like, not only is he going to kill Andy, he doesn't even care what he looks like anymore. So like when they slam his hand down, he
just pulls and there's sinews and stuff. I love that's a little movie detail that I really love.
Yeah, he rips his hand off like it's Evil Dead the remake. And then he makes himself a knife hand. He like tapes his hand with the packaging tape. Like,
it's his Blade cosplay, dude. Don't hate.
It looks so. And so here's the thing. So I said that him holding the ruler is my favorite shot of Chucky. Now let me explain one more thing that is a favorite Chucky thing for me, because I love this franchise. Stitched up Chucky has always been one of my favorite Chucky looks, but my favorite Chucky look is Chucky with knife for a hand and legs sewn to a board on like a wheelie cart as he's just dragging himself. He looks so fucking badass and scary at the same time.
Well, the thing also is that it's a very interesting little jab at Chucky by having his balls stapled. Yeah. Because he's a doll, but he's becoming a human. And so he's getting his balls sewn into like a little wheelie, whatever. And he's like, I'm gonna cut your legs off. I don't even care.
So here's the thing, though. There's one question that I'm very confused by with this movie. And it's, what is the purpose of the button that Andy pushes that apparently just brings a doll back into the one thing and just starts shoving arms and legs into it until you tell it to stop. Like, why was that built on that conveyor belt? I don't understand what purpose it serves.
It's quality control.
You're
all
more
right?
concerned about that than the fact that you can press a button and spray hot wax everywhere but in a toy.
Yeah, like at the end of this movie, I am there for the fucking ride. I have paid the admission. I have done an hour and 10 minutes of character development. I don't give a shit about logic anymore. I am just ready for some mayhem. And
Mayhem,
you know what?
baby.
Mayhem, baby. That's an whatever it takes reference, but for any noobs out there that haven't been with the show for 4 fucking years and have heard us talk about that movie ad nauseum. Anyway, so you get the House of Wax Jared Padalecki kill, and I love it. I love it. It's such a. I mean, I saw it coming a mile away. Still loved it. Everything about this movie was probably so fresh in 91. And and the thing is that when we talk about movies, I think Out of the Dark is a great example. When we talk about movies that were kind of ahead of their time, you can still feel that charm, which is really cool to me, where it's not like, oh, I've seen this a million times, because we have the ability to be like, oh, this is where the trope originated, or this is an earlier incarnation of the trope, and it's so charming and it's so fresh and it's so entertaining. Like, I think that there's that. This movie is really one of the better movies that I really put off. You know, I put it off because I knew I behind the wizard behind the curtain, I can see Matt's Trello list. I can see Brian's Trello list. They can see my Trello list. And I knew that this was coming like 2 years ago. And I was like, I'll just wait. There are a couple other ones that I know for a fact that I really want to watch. And I'm just waiting. But that said, I have a lot on my list that the two of you guys probably shouldn't watch because they're at least a year out, and I have to vet them because they may be fucking garbage. But so don't go through my list like maybe I want to watch this. Just like do the Matt Kelly where you're like, oh, I found this at a con, I guess I'll watch it. Like we're doing my next. Is it my next pick, Matt? The 92.
I can't remember.
I think that might be my next. I'm pretty sure that's my next one. That one, I've been waiting, and you were waiting, and then you picked it up at a con, and you did the quality control check, and you're like, yeah, Scott, yeah, do it. And so just like ignore my Trello list, because my Trello list, I added like 30 things today because I'm amping up for my birthday pick, and I'm like, oh, I need something good, but also bad.
All right, well, let's do our final thoughts and start to wrap up a little bit. So all in all, I still stand by this is, if not my favorite Child's Play, it's tied with Bride. It is a very good fucking movie. It just depends on which type of Chucky I'm looking to watch, I think.
Yeah, I definitely need to rewatch Curse after watching this to make a decision about whether I like Curse better than this, which kind of is blasphemy. That's like if somebody was like, I like Halloween H2O better than Halloween 1978, but who gives a fuck,
See, I love Child's Play too, but the issue, it's not an issue, but it's hard for me to say when something does such a dramatic genre shift throughout the series, I can't compare Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky to Child's Play 1, 2, and 3 because they're just different. They're different movies all in all.
Do you think that Child's Play 1, 2, and 3 are kind of like their own thing, and then everything after is its own thing, separate?
I would think so, and I would think that because 3 is almost like, and it's been a while since I saw it, but the best way I can describe it is 3 is more goofy, but it's almost like a Town That Dreaded Sundown in a sense that it's like a horror movie with just very goofy scenes.
I think that you're talking about slapstick. Yeah. I haven't seen Child's Play 3, but I've seen Town That Dreaded Sundown, and it's very like
when they drive
Laurel and Hardy,
it's very slapsticky.
It's just weird. It's a weird movie. The weird thing is that they all have it, like, they all connect together logically.
Thank you, Don Mancini.
Because, like, even how Chucky comes from his demise in this into part 3 makes sense, and then Bride of Chucky and everything else, they all have a very logical way that they come back. It's not just like the killer comes back and there's no explanation for it.
Yeah.
It's no Terrifier.
All right, so double feature.
Matt, you go first because you picked this one.
So I'm gonna go with the more logical one, and then after you guys say, I'll say what my like kind of weird, goofy one was. But
Sure.
I'm gonna go with demonic toys.
Damn it.
See, that was my first. That for me, that's the gimme. That's the low hanging fruit, because this one feels very much like Demonic Toys. Because if you were to split all of Chucky's good qualities into like 6 mediocre killer toys, you get Demonic Toys.
And I was thinking also just because of the warehouse.
Yeah,
look, like
yeah,
the
oh
whole,
for
like,
sure.
Locale, like it made me think Demonic Toys. I'll let you guys go, and then I'll say my really absurd one.
Brian, do you need time? Or you want me to do? You want me to do?
I need time.
Okay, so this is a little off the beaten path, but if I was really doing a double feature with Child's Play 2, I would pick Who Framed Roger Rabbit as the intro. I'd start with Who Framed Roger Rabbit and then do Child's Play 2.
Because of the dip?
It's because of the fucking dip. Because this movie, if you guys had seen it when... Okay, so Matt, you were 10 or 11. Brian, that would make you, what, 6 years old?
Yeah, about that.
About 6 years old. That's kinder trauma, right? This Shockwave talks about that. And Roger Rabbit is totally a kid's movie, but that movie fucked me up because like that dip scene is nuts. It's not the dip scene. I'm sorry. It's the fucking steamroller scene.
Yeah, when he gets run over. I stopped watching at that point.
I couldn't. I saw it in theaters and I was horrified.
I didn't see the last 5 minutes until like 6 years later.
But I loved it. I loved the idea of Roger Rabbit. It's just that it was so scary to me. That's like 92
I still think that's
there.
One of the best movies ever. I still think
Roger Rabbit is one of the best movies ever. What?
I think it's a masterpiece.
Even
I think
outside of genre, you think that movie is one of the best movies?
I think it's one of the best written scripts. They did a fantastic way because they basically just rewrote. It's Chinatown. It's the Chinatown screenplay.
I was trying to think of what the crime noir was, but yeah, it's Chinatown.
Yeah, like they just were like, let's remake Chinatown and let's put this cartoon character in it. But like, here's the thing: what they did that was smart was that they never stopped it from being a film noir. You know what I mean? Like, it is a noir film. Yeah. It's just a noir film that's wacky, and I think that's really cool. So I love that. But I also think that it did so much shit that had never been done as seamlessly as that before. So like it's kind of an important movie. I'm pretty sure like it's even on like AFI's list of like the 100 most important films of all time. Like I would very highly rank it as like pieces of cinema.
Are you saying that Bob Hoskins in Who Framed Roger Rabbit is better than Bob Hoskins in Super Mario Brothers?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm saying.
So, Brian, back me up here, bro. I'm guessing that Matt holds Roger Rabbit in such high esteem because his first boner was thanks to Jessica Rabbit. Is this true?
It could be because I don't know if she was my first, but she's my most recent. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. Brian Kelly hasn't had a boner since 1996.
Or yesterday when I watched Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
All right, Brian, what's your double feature, bro?
So this is, I mean, it's not too much of a stretch, but just trying, because Demonic Toys is really the perfect one. But I would go with Scream.
Really?
Because the era of when they came out, the age of when I watched both of these, and my biggest thing for thinking of it now is Chucky's hand caught in that cage. And his reaction is so similar to Billy when Nev Campbell is hiding in the closet and he's got the phone and he's like, I'm going to find you, you fucking bitch. You hear me? Like, if you put them side by side, they're so fucking similar in the way that they like react.
Brian, I got a project for you for by the time this episode comes out.
Side by side?
No, I was going to say just take Billy's dialogue and put it over top of Chucky or vice versa.
Yeah. I think
it would be easier to do Chucky, obviously.
Yeah. But so the goofy one that I had was going to be Jaws.
Jaws or Jaws 3D?
No, Jaws 1 because they're both Universal movies, right?
This is a Universal monster?
This is a Universal movie, yeah.
Huh.
So Brian was talking about when Andy's sliding down the thing, and then Chucky jumps out, just like when the shark jumps out of the water and attacks Quinn. They blow up Chucky like they blow up the shark. And then it both ends with the two surviving people walking off into the sunset, like the way that Chief Brody and Richard Dreyfuss swim their way back to shore at the end of Jaws.
I don't know, dude.
Dead
That's a
eyes.
stratch. That's more of a
Black
stretch than
eyes.
You ever see the eyes of a shark? Dead eyes like a doll's
Black
eyes.
the devil's eyes. There we go. Back to Halloween 78. All right. So, things that we liked.
Yeah. So
I would like to kick it off. Can I kick it off?
Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
The Perfection. Have you guys watched it yet?
No, I'm told that I shouldn't hear anything about it, and I'm going to be in a bunch of hotels for the next 7 days, so I'm going to watch it at some point during that.
Yeah, actually, so Katie from the group, she's our friend, but I'm saying like anybody that listens, Katie from the group, she posted the trailer when it was coming out onto Netflix when they had a release date, and we were at Pop Rock and Horror when it actually dropped, and so obviously I didn't have time, but when I worked from home this week, I just put some time aside to watch it throughout the day, and she and I rapped about it a little bit on Messenger after I finished it, and we are in agreement and of the opinion that it is a one and done film, really fucking good, but it's not a movie that you really want to watch again.
Yeah, I can't remember. She saw that at the same time.
She saw it at Fantastic Fest.
Yeah, she saw it when I was seeing something else, and I think she saw that when I saw FP2. So
dude, it was like 3 a.m.
nothing?
She said it was like 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning when she started it. She had been watching movies for 10 straight hours.
Yeah, then it might have been that because the FP was like midnight release.
So it might have been that.
One. Yeah, because I know that she saw Terrified the same time that I saw You Might Be the Killer.
Dude, you got the better end of that one.
That's what I stand by.
Terrified.
Anyway.
And Katie likes it. Anyway, you go ahead.
It.
So I really liked With the Perfection. Watch it on Netflix one time.
So
Cool.
I will talk about, I'm going to talk about two things real quick. They were both films that were given to me at Pop Rock and Horror. The one is called Night of the Axe, which is a 22-minute short film made by a guy who's been pretty active on our Facebook page since Pop Rock and Horror, Sean. So Sean, thank you for listening and being involved. So I'll be honest, I enjoyed it. I didn't love it. But it's definitely something that was made with a lot of passion. And while the acting is a little rough, it's very clear that it's just him using local friends. But the gore, which is what you're there for this 20-minute short, is really fucking good. Like,
so you're saying we need to use him for a future HMN episode?
yeah, like there's a scene where someone gets an axe in the head, and we've seen that before. But when the guy goes to pull the axe out of the head, the skin gives with the axe.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I was like, oh shit! Like it was like there was like a couple moments like that where I was like, damn. So very good. I'm excited to see what else Sean has up his sleeve because I like where he's going right now, right out the gate with this. And then the other one that I watched, I have so many mixed feelings for. It was called Badass Monster Killer, and it was
yeah, we saw that guy give us a copy. I saw that guy give us a copy. Yeah.
And it's very. So I liked it a lot, but I don't know if I'd ever watch it again. But it was very like they went 100% into what they were doing. Like it's like Tokyo Gore Police. If it was, hold on a second, hear me out. Tokyo Gore Police. If it was a blaxploitation cop movie, and
that's a weird mix.
And if all of the monster effects were done by stop motion claymation creatures instead of like the hyper weird gore stuff, so it's just like. The whole movie shot on a green screen. It's very, like, obviously shot on a green screen, and that's, like, a stylistic choice.
Okay.
But, like, he'll shoot someone. It's kind of got, like, an Akira vibe, I guess, where, like, when someone gets injured, that's when their mutation begins. So, like...
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, he'll shoot someone, and he'll, like, blow off a part of their body, and then all of a sudden it's all this stop-motion claymation that starts to take over, like, half of their body. And then you've got like a half man, half claymation creature that he's fighting. and it's really fucking cool looking. I don't think we would ever do it for the show. I don't even know if I can necessarily recommend it, but it is on Prime if you just want to watch it, because it was
give him that $0.25, man.
Yeah, like visually, you know what it is? It's a perfect background movie. Like, throw it on, hit mute, and like enjoy a party, and have people just be like, "What the fuck is on?" Like, it's wild. And there's also a lot of nudity in both of those, which was shocking to me. But
so you're saying that you need to mail me those screeners?
So you're saying I should watch it on an airplane?
Yeah.
Hey, Brian, before you go, I wanted to mention one thing that I watched due to Pop Rock and Horror. A really nice guy named Mike. So I was a very good boy, and I didn't drink very much at Pop Rock and Horror, but I did close down the hotel bar both Friday and Saturday night when I was there, which led to a lot of short sleeping. It wasn't hangovers, it was just short sleeping. But this guy, Mike, came up and talked to us at our table, and then talked to me a bunch at the hotel bar. And he has a movie that he did called I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday. His name's Mike Lombardo, and he really is hoping that people will check out his film and give it a review on IMDb. Now, I do not have an IMDb profile, and I refuse to have one. I have the app strictly due to the fact that I need to look people up, not because I want to post anything important on it. So I'm going to give him my honest opinion here, and again, I will let him know in a Facebook message. I really liked the heart that went into it. I don't think it needed to be an hour and 22 minutes long, but it has a really good final 10 minutes.
Nice.
So it's low budget. It is a character study about a mom in an apocalyptic situation. And I appreciate it for what it is, but it feels a bit indulgent from the actor's perspective. It's like, since it's a character study, most character studies feel indulgent from an actor's perspective, and also from a writer's perspective, because then you're like, oh, I don't have to do exposition, I don't have to do any sort of like character growth. It can all be in their interactions with two other people and them talking and reacting to things that happen around them. So it was one of those movies that I wouldn't rewatch, but I really appreciated what it was there to do. And if it was a short, if it would have tightened itself up to like a 35-40 minute runtime instead of an hour and 20 or an hour and 10, whatever it was, it would have been killer.
Nice.
So actually, I would highly recommend giving it a watch. It might be on Prime, I'm not sure. He sent me a link, but you can find it. It's around somewhere. I'm sure it's up for free. And then if you do have an IMDb account, give an honest review. That's all he wants.
Yeah, nice.
He wants honest reviews.
All right, Brian, what's something good that you've seen?
So I went to Ginny Springs this weekend and swam in some springs. So my video watches have been down, and the only two movies that I saw that I can absolutely rave about are fairly well known and have been out for a while.
All right,
that's fine.
But I was just gonna go a podcast route, but I'll be quick with it and then throw in those two movies. To Live and Die in LA, great mini fucking podcast. We listened to it for the 4.5 hour ride, and then
how many
4.5
episodes?
hour. It's 12 episodes,
okay,
ranging from 45 minutes to an hour. It's about this murder in Los Angeles, and it's unsolved, but it's unsolved because the guy doing the podcast actually solves it. But since it's not officially by the police, the podcast ends with him turning in everything to the police because it was just a matter of like LA cops shutting it down quickly and not really caring to solve the case. Really fucking wild ride. Watched Sinister finally for the first time. I thought it was a very, very original movie. I thought it was fucking fun. It genuinely spooked me a few times.
Oh, Sinister's a great film. The only bad thing that I have to say is that I thought that Bagul looked fucking stupid. He looked like a Slipknot character. That's the only thing I have to say about it.
That I can 100% get behind.
My only beef with Sinister is that I feel like every time I watch that movie, I'd much rather be in the found footage stuff than the rest of the life drama. Like, that's really the highlight of the movie.
But it's like, it was so weird watching. I got so submerged in it for like simple things that shouldn't make me go, oh shit. I went, oh shit. Like when he pauses the video on the laptop and the Bagul's head just like slowly turns and looks at him. Like, it's such like a cheap trick and it's not that spooky, but like just I was so
Your dad is all right. Your mom is all right.
And then
don't ever use the word cheap
yeah.
and trick right after me.
Yeah. And then I watched Victor Crowley today, which was fucking hilarious.
Dude,
Holy
it's on my
shit.
list. I actually have a copy of it on my computer because every time I see Felissa Rose at a con, she's like, have you watched it yet? I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm going to actually see her at the end of this month, June. I don't know when this is dropping, but I'm seeing her at the end of June 2019 at a horror con up here in Ohio. And I have to watch it before then.
I wasn't ready for it. Like I thought it was like a dark comedy, like maybe like a few like comedic reliefs. The first scene, I watched it alone in my house today, and I was like gasping for air at how hard I was laughing.
Really? Like fuck yes! I can't wait.
It's not the whole movie like that, but there's certain characters and certain scenes that are just so fucking funny. And it was definitely a comedy first and horror second. And I
so that's Hatchet 4, right?
Yes, because there was 3. The third one got a little crazy.
Yeah, third one's a little wild. All right, so
I've seen the first 3. I just don't remember the third one.
So that was Child's Play 2, as picked by me. We'll be back next week with a movie that Scott picked that he's been threatening us with for years.
What the hell did I even pick? I can't.
Years, Scott. So we'll see. Who knows? Maybe we'll be in outer space.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we'll be in a whole extra time. Maybe Adam Scott will show up. Who the fuck knows? So tune in.
Are we having fun yet or what?
Tune in next week and find out. Hopefully, I won't be coughing and sick by then.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network. You're listening to the Geekscape Network.